The gunshot cracked across the pasture and echoed off the walnut trees like thunder trapped in a bottle. That's how it started. Or maybe that's just how it ends up when the world you've built is being ripped apart right in front of your eyes. Darla, the queen bee of the HOA, bleach blonde bob, badge swinging on her chest like a sheriff in a spaghetti western, staggered back in the dust between my barn and the windmill, clutching her leg. My bullet had kicked up dirt, skipped, and nicked her calf because I dragged my aim at the last second. The look on her face went from smug to stunned in a heartbeat. Her phone was already out before she hit the ground. 911, I've been shot. He's crazy, she wailed, voice trembling, the sound cutting through the summer air like a rusty saw. You ever notice how some moments freeze, like the world is holding its breath? Cows staring, daughter's bike tipping over, dust hanging midair, and somewhere off behind the trees, a siren started its song, quiet at first, then building, rolling this way. Old Arlo, my hound, pressed up against my leg, shaking so bad I thought his bones would rattle out. I stood there, rifle heavy in my hands, brain spinning, heart pounding. No one dies on my land, I said out loud. That was a promise. I lowered the rifle, ran to Darla, who was gasping in the dirt, blood soaking her white capri pants. Her fury had drained out, replaced by a look I'd never seen on her, real fear. Don't touch me, she hissed, then softer. It hurts. Funny how pain strips away all the armor. I talked to her like she was a spooked horse. You're gonna be fine. Just breathe. Tore my bandana, wrapped it above the wound, snug but not mean. Why'd you shoot me? She panted. Because you threatened my family and crossed a fence you had no right to cross, I said. I aimed to stop you, not to kill. I warned you. I'm done letting folks scare my kids over rules we never agreed to. She looked at me like I was speaking Greek. That was the woman who'd sent letters that felt like paper cuts and fines that felt like traps. But now she was just a bleeding person in the dirt. Emily, my wife, stood by the porch, already on the phone with the sheriff, one hand holding our daughter Grace tight. We've lived out here long enough to know when to call for help. Now, I suppose you need to know how we got here, because stories like this never start with thunder. They start with the quiet. I'm Jake Carter. My family and I raise cattle and hay on a patch of ground outside Hawthorne Ridge. 10 years ago, we bought this place when the only thing standing tall were the walnut trees and hope. The campground across the road used to sell coffee so strong you could float a horseshoe in it. Then the bulldozers came, the signs went up, Lakeside Meadows, private community, amenities. With the houses came rules. Rules about grass height, mailbox color, and a board that called themselves the standard bearers. They didn't own my land, but they sure wanted to run it. At first, it was emails asking if we'd align our fence for visual harmony. No thanks. Then a letter claimed the old dirt lane by our pond was community lake access. Checked the deed. Nope, lane was ours. But folks started parking by our gate for sunset photos, leaving trash, beer bottles. One time a dog tied to our fence with a note. Can't keep her, please be kind. We found her a home. The HOA, though, they just turned up the heat. Mandatory meeting. Failure to attend may result in legal action. Called them up. We're not members. We never signed anything. But you benefit from our roads and amenities, she said, voice like a marble countertop. I got my own road, made of gravel and sweat. I told her. The first time I met Darla, she stood at a town hall, voice smooth as silk, talking about order and community. When it was my turn, I told them about my grandfather, who believed fences keep promises, not just people. A good fence isn't a wall against kindness, I said. You can still pass bread over a fence. She smiled like a teacher who likes the effort but marks you wrong anyway. We appreciate your perspective, Mr. Carter. We'll be in touch. And boy, were they. Reminders tucked in our mailbox, which they had no business touching. Drones flying over our pasture to survey shoreline erosion. I tried to be a good neighbor. Found a kid's lost glasses in our creek. Gave a woman a lift when her car broke down. But when someone cut the fence, I put up a new sign, private farm. No trespassing. Call if you need help. Gave them my number, because I'd rather be bothered than have more wire cut. Then came the registered letter. Your gate blocks community lake access. Remove within 10 days. Daily fines, enforcement visits. It was trying to look like an official government seal, but the county clerk laughed when she saw it. No easement, she said. Lane's yours. That should have been the end, right? But Saturday evening, Darla showed up with 2 men and a bolt cutter that flashed like a wolf's grin. Emily was grilling burgers. Grace drawing cats with chalk. I was oiling the gate. You have until Monday. Take down that gate, or we will, she yelled. Not your land. Not your say. County confirmed it, I replied. Then we'll let a judge confirm it, she snapped. Or maybe we'll skip the judge and get it done. If you think you have a claim, take it to court, I said, but my fence is closed for a fight. Her eyes drifted to the porch. You think a grill and some dirt make you king? She muttered. Move. Red Cap lifted the cutter. Gray Polo laughed, mean and short. I stepped in front of them, palm out. No. Arlo wedged himself between Grace and the men, growling. He'll bite, Gray Polo warned. I'll bite first. Grace piped up, 8 years old, fearless. That's when Darla leaned in. Take down the gate, or I'll make your life so small you'll wish this farm was a postage stamp. I'll report your animals, your water, fine you until you sell. And if your kid crosses the line again, she'll be escorted home. Rough. Some threats you can't forgive. I looked at Emily. Whole conversations in one glance. Stand firm. Call the sheriff. Don't push first, but don't let fear run the house. Darla put her foot on the fence rail. Move. I went to the barn, took down the rifle. Didn't slam the door. Didn't try to scare anyone. Just stepped out into the light. Stop, I said. Gray Polo laughed. He won't. Last warning, I said. Darla swung one leg over the fence, heel digging into my field. Red Cap yanked the cutter. Grace whimpered. And that's how we got here. A shot cracking the day in half. Darla on the ground. Emily calling the sheriff. Arlo pressed against my thigh. The men not sure if the show was over or one more act was left. You can do everything right and still end up in the storm. What you do next is who you are. I told Darla, you're not going to die. Even if you hate me, I'll save you. For a moment, she was just a tired person who wanted control. Sirens hit the drive. Blue and red washed the fence. 2 squad cars, an ambulance, a county SUV. Sheriff Daniels, a man built like a calendar photo for America's dads, stepped out. He remembered us from parades, from lemon bars Emily made. His voice boomed. Hands where we can see them. I raised my hands. Rifle on the ground. I'm the caller. I'm the owner. Back away from the injured party. Deputies moved in. Daniels looked at me, at Emily, at the chalk cats on the driveway, at the bolt cutter in Red Cap's hand. His jaw worked, thinking hard. Darla whimpered. He shot me while I was fulfilling a community notice. He's dangerous. Daniels stared. Did you cross the fence before or after he fired? Sirens hummed. Wind flicked the corner of Emily's letter. Then a deputy yelled, Gun. Gun in the Red Cap's waistband. Every head turned. Hands twitched for holsters. The world teetered on a blade. Don't move, Daniels barked. Red Cap froze. Deputies tackled him, yanked the pistol free. Metal hit gravel, echoing like a verdict. They loaded Darla into the ambulance, her voice trailing. He shot me. As the doors slammed. Daniel stepped close. Tell me everything. I did. Fence, threats, warning, low shot, bandana. When I finished, Daniels nodded. It isn't clean, Jake. But I believe you didn't mean to kill her. That might save you. I don't want saving, I said, unless it's for my family. I won't have them living in fear. Daniels sighed. You'll have to come in for a statement. I'll come. But Emily and Grace stay here. As they took me in, Grace whispered, Daddy was protecting us. Daniels said, sometimes the world doesn't see things as right and wrong. Sometimes it's about proof. I rode to the station in a cruiser, the farm fading into the dark behind me. They let me go home at dawn, but warned, it's not over. She'll press charges. The HOA has lawyers. Then I'll stand in court like I stood at that fence. Honest, firm, protecting what's mine. Emily picked me up. Grace had drawn a new chalk family, stick figures, a big square fence, and the word safe. Made me wonder if the real fight wasn't just about land, but about showing my daughter that strength and kindness can share the same heart. But just as hope flickered, a black SUV rolled up. Out stepped a man in a sharp suit, briefcase swinging. Mr. Carter, I represent the Lakeside Meadows HOA. We need to talk. His tone was all lawyer, smooth, practiced, icy. You and I are about to spend a lot of time together. My client was shot on your property. Criminal complaints been filed. Civil damages to follow. Emily snatched the papers he handed over. "We'll let our lawyer look at them," she snapped, even though we didn't have a lawyer yet. The lawyer just smiled. "Fight properly, or this farm will be someone else's prize." That day, the chores didn't stop, but every hammer strike echoed. By afternoon, a drone buzzed low over the pasture. That night, Emily found an envelope in our mailbox, a photo of me, rifle raised, Darla falling, blood on her pants. "Dangerous, unstable, unfit," scrawled across it. "They're spying on us," Emily whispered. That night, after we put Grace to bed, I sat on the porch. "If we fight hate with hate, they win," I told Emily. "Grace needs to see we can be strong without being cruel. Kindness isn't weakness," she said. "We'll find the line." Then, late that night, a bang from the barn. "Sell or burn," sprayed in red paint on the back wall. My blood ran cold. I called the sheriff. He filed the report, but warned, "This is bigger than my office. The HOA will argue it's unrelated. And if this keeps up, someone's going to get hurt worse." He left, and we spent the night huddled in one bed, fear making the house feel too big. The next morning, 3 cows lay dead in the grass, poisoned. "They really did it," Emily wept. Sheriff Daniels took it hard. "This is felony cruelty now." They wanted to send a message. Message received. But I don't scare easy. Neighbors started showing up, Hank with a shotgun, Tanya and her son with a bat, Earl with an old hound. "You ain't alone," Hank said. That night, we watched in shifts. But the attacks got worse. A hay shed burned down, flames painting the sky, neighbors fighting the blaze till dawn. Daniels called it war. "They're escalating, Jake. But fire doesn't point fingers. You need proof." So we set up cameras, lights, posted watches. Next, 2 HOA men were caught on camera, cutting fence, pulling a gun. The sheriff arrested them. Trail cam footage made the front page. Suddenly, the whole town knew. Some called me a hero. Some called me reckless. But the cracks in the HOA's power started to show. It all built to a final standoff. SUVs rolling in like an army. HOA board stepping out. Darla on crutches. Lawyer at her side. Neighbors gathered behind me. "This property will be seized under eminent domain," the lawyer declared. "You're trespassing. You burned his barn, poisoned his cattle." Neighbors yelled back. "You threatened his family." Daniels arrived, flashing trail cam photos and letters. Deputies cuffed red cap and gray polo. "This farmer and his family have been victims, not aggressors," Daniels said. Neighbors cheered. Emily wept. Grace clung to my leg. For the first time in weeks, fear lifted. But as the HOA retreated, the lawyer locked eyes with me, a silent promise that the war wasn't over. That night, neighbors gathered on our porch, laughter finally breaking through. Grace drew chalk hearts on the drive. Emily leaned against me, and for a moment, hope outshone the scars. Because fences might mark where land ends, but it's kindness, courage, and community that make a place home. And that's something no HOA, no fire, no lawyer will ever take from us. Where are you watching from? And what would you do if the world you built was threatened, not by strangers, but by the folks who call themselves your neighbors? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me where you stand on the line between kindness and standing your ground. This story's not just mine anymore. It's all of ours now.